Hello, today we're going to be reviewing Marty Brests' films. This is Going in Style. This is his second feature film, his first being Hot Tomorrows, and of course the short film Hot Dogs for Gauguin. So here we have Going in Style, a movie about three retirees who rob a bank. And yes, I did see the remake. This movie is very dark. It's a dark film. The remake was pretty light, happy, and yeah, it was definitely two different films. But the best part about Going in Style is, of course, the ending. I won't give away too much in case you haven't seen it, but there's a great speech at the end of the movie with George Burns at the prison. Just probably one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Very human, very smart, very spot on. Okay, his next movie was Beverly Hills Cop. Now, before he did Beverly Hills Cop, he directed a few scenes of war games. Yeah, he was supposed to direct war games, but he was fired off of the movie because he was spending too much money on the production design of the film for war games, and the producers were saying this is costing us too much money, so they fired him. Unfortunately, he was pretty upset and depressed about it, naturally. But Bruckheimer and Simpson found him and said, "We'd like you to direct Beverly Hills Cop." And he didn't really want to do it. He just sort of flipped a coin, and then of course it landed on the side of the coin that he picked, so he ended up directing Beverly Hills Cop. And originally it was supposed to star Sylvester Stallone, but Stallone wanted a huge budget, and Simpsons and Bruckheimer just moved him to another film. They said, we're going to move you to something else. And then they recast Eddie Murphy as the lead. He'd been pretty popular on Saturday Night Live. And it's a good thing that Brests did Beverly Hills Cop. It was a huge blockbuster for him and the studio. Huge movie. So put him on the map as a director, and then he got to direct his next big budget movie, which was, of course, Midnight Run. Now, I can't say enough good things about this movie. Midnight Run, a fantastic film, great buddy film. My two favorite buddy films are Midnight Run and, of course, Planes, Trains. This one a little bit more superior. It's a really good film. It's about two people who are very different, and by the end of the movie they realize that they've got similar qualities and they can help each other out. It's a good life lesson for people. Could learn a lot from Midnight Run. It's taught in comedy screenwriting classes in the States. And it's a fantastic film. Great performances by De Niro and Grodin. All the supporting cast is fantastic. Very good music by Danny Elfman. A superb script by George Gallo. My goodness, I can't say enough. It's my favorite film, actually. It's my favorite film of all time, Midnight Run. It's my top #1 movie. Just so many great scenes, just a fantastic film from beginning to end. All right, now I'm going to move on to Scent of a Woman. This won Pacino the Best Actor Award of the Academy Awards, and of course Chris O'Donnell was really good. Also a good supporting cast. I believe Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. This movie was based on Perfuma di Donna, which I've also seen. I saw that. And quite a different movie. They're two different movies, but good script by Bo Goldman, and great music by Thomas Newman. Something I found out recently through Wikipedia was that the all-boys school was actually filmed at an all-girls school, so I found that kind of interesting. And a lot of the stuff I talk about here, maybe some small pieces you're going to be able to find on the internet or through Wikipedia, but I just wanted to share my experience of these films. Scent of a Woman was fantastic. About a blind guy who has one last Thanksgiving weekend. Just a tour of pleasures, as they say. Now we'll move on to Meet Joe Black. I only have this on VHS. My stepmother gave it to me, so sorry it's not on DVD. This is, of course, based on Death Takes a Holiday. Yeah, good movie, good performances by, of course, Anthony Hopkins. Not really a big Brad Pitt fan, but, he was good in it. Of course, Claire Forlani. It's a little long. It's almost 3 hours, so it's a long movie to sit through. Still a good movie. We're gonna skip Geely. I'm not gonna talk about that film. Let's keep moving right along. All right, so now we have, this is the novelization of Midnight Run. I said I had it, so this is the novelization by Paul Monette, based on the screenplay by George Gallo. The two things that are different in the book versus the movie is that in the book, the scene where De Niro Walsh goes to his daughter's house. In the book, she gives him the babysitting money. He drives about 45 minutes or an hour out of town, and then he drives back and puts the money back in the mailbox. Of course, they didn't show that in the movie. And the other difference was that in the book versus the movie was that John Ashton's character gets killed by the mob instead of just knocked out. In the movie, he's knocked unconscious. In the book, they kill him, which is a little bit more realistic. All right, this is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You're wondering, why am I showing you this? But of course, if you're a huge fan, you know that Marty Brests had a cameo in this movie. He was dating the director, Amy Heckerling. They were a couple in the 80s, and she put him in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He plays Dr. Miller. I think his scene is maybe about 60 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. He just plays a doctor when the kids go to the hospital on a field trip. So yeah, Marty Brests had a little cameo on this. He also has a cameo in Spies Like Us. So he plays a security guard with a machine gun. He's got one line. He says, 2 Pepsis to go. And it's just cool. John Landis is the director of this movie. He likes to put his film director buddies in cameos. So he put Marty Brests as a cameo in the movie, which is fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving along. This is, of course, the soundtrack to Beverly Hills Cop, which has got Danny Elfman's song Gratitude, which is not in the movie, but pretty cool song. It's also got Pointer Sisters and, of course, the Glenn Frey song. Fantastic opening as well. Good music. I also own the soundtrack to, I'm going to move this around. I have the soundtrack to Scent of a Woman by Thomas Newman. And he ended up doing the soundtrack to American Beauty years later. So it's a good score. There's a few pieces I like. And of course, now we have the Midnight Run soundtrack by Danny Elfman. So this is fantastic. It's sort of like Danny Elfman sort of described the score for Midnight Run as his rock band Oingo Boingo doing like an instrumental score to the movie. It's my favorite soundtrack score. I listen to it every year on my birthday. You can tell I'm a huge fan of Midnight Run, as you can tell. It's just a good movie all around. All right. Like I said, a lot of this information is on the internet, but I just wanted to share some stuff with you. Maybe you found some information out you didn't know. But thanks for watching. Much obliged. Appreciate it. Take care.